Hello and welcome once again. Yesterday, we learned about Abram's obedience to God's call to leave his land behind for an unknown place. After trials and journeys through the land, Abram stood once more under the vast sky. Though he owned little and the future seemed uncertain, God's voice broke through the silence with a promise renewed. A covenant of land, descendants, and hope eternal, a promise that still speaks to us today. This is episode 10, the story of a promise renewed.
A promise renewed. Abram and his nephew Lot had grown very rich. Their flocks and herds were so vast that the land could barely hold them all. Day after day, their herdsmen argued over water and grazing pastures, causing great unrest. "There must be no quarreling between us," Abram told Lot gently. "We are family. Let us separate. If you choose the left, I will go right. If you choose the right, I will go left." Abram, though the elder, gave Lot the first choice. Lot looked out and saw the fertile plain of the Jordan, well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord. It seemed like the perfect place. So Lot chose that rich land, moving his tents toward Sodom, a city known for its wickedness. After Lot had left, God spoke to Abram, "Lift up your eyes from where you are, and look north, south, east, and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted." Years passed. One day, terrible news reached Abram. A war had broken out between kings, and Lot, living near Sodom, had been captured along with all his possessions. Abram's heart sank. He knew he had to act. Abram quickly gathered his trained men, 318 of them, born in his household. He led them in pursuit, surprising the enemy by night. They rescued Lot, his family, and all their belongings, bringing them safely back home. On his return, Abram was met by Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High. Melchizedek blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth." Abram, in turn, gave Melchizedek a tenth of everything he had recovered. The king of Sodom, King Bera, also came to meet Abram, offering him all the goods if Abram would just return the people. But Abram refused, saying, "I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or the strap of a sandal, so that you will never say, 'I made Abram rich.'" Later, God spoke to Abram in a vision, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." Abram, still without a son, asked, "Sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless? My heir is Eliezer of Damascus." God answered, "No, a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. Look up at the sky and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, so shall your offspring be." And Abram believed the Lord, and God credited it to him as righteousness. To seal his promise, God commanded Abram to bring him animals for a covenant ceremony. Abram followed God's instructions, cutting the animals in two and arranging the halves opposite each other. As the sun set, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. Then, a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch passed between the pieces, a sign of God himself making the covenant. God declared, "To your descendants I give this land, from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates." God's promise was renewed, an everlasting covenant with Abram, who would one day be called Abraham, father of many nations.
Abram's faith was tested, yet he chose to trust the God who calls things that are not as though they were. He believed God, and God counted it to him for righteousness. The covenant sealed between heaven and earth reminds us that God's promises never fail, no matter how long the wait. May we, like Abram, walk by faith, holding fast to the one who is faithful to fulfill his word, because without faith, it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11 verse 6. Keep following us as we unfold more about Abram's faith and walk with God in future episodes, and how we can apply the lessons to our own lives. God bless you.